Alright guys, so I don't know if I'm putting this in the beginning of the video or what. So I'm just gonna start out by saying Jalen and I moved. We finally bought our first house. The place that you've seen the videos happen for the last 4 years, besides some of them happened at Ryan's house. Otherwise, in this garage, this was a rental. It was a duplex. We finally bought our first house, so we're moving out. I just wanted to kind of give you a last look and whatnot. I know this garage ain't much. Last 4 years, this was mine. I mean, this is what I had, and it's just kind of cool to look back on. I mean, I made it work in here, and this just goes to show, like, you can start somewhere and be okay. And I mean, this was kind of my workbench, and this is where everything went, my wheels and tires, and stored a bunch of parts all along this corner. I did an 8-speed swap in my truck, the transmission on the ground in this. We pulled Nate's bad motor and put a motor in here. I mean, we had to pull the truck in here, get the motor ready to be pulled out, back it all the way out, pull a cherry picker in here, then pull the truck back in halfway, pull the engine out so we could back it up enough, then push the truck out, push the cherry picker with the engine into a different truck, then pull the truck back in, and then when we got the new engine, literally do all that again. And so many more other little things happen in here. Not a ton, but things happen in here. I mean, I paint corrected and ceramic coated my truck, and I had to do it, one side at a time, back it out, turn it around, bring it back in so we had room to work. I started out here with my truck leveled, and it's lowered now and cammed and 8-speed swapped and all sorts of different stuff. And I bought that van, and I brought it in here, and it actually still fit in here at the time because I didn't have Willy Bobs on it. We did a bunch of work to it in here, getting it ready to run. And this garage just means a lot to me because it's where I started. I mean, yeah, we did stuff at Ryan's a lot, but this was mine. I did live in the other side of the duplex for like 7 months or so, and that had a garage actually smaller than this attached to the house, and then I had a detached garage as well. But I didn't really do anything out of that. I wasn't serious out of there, and I got kind of serious here, and I actually built this place to kind of hang out, and I had a TV in here, and I'd hang out, and like I said, pull engines and transmissions in here, and it's cool because this is where I started. It just goes to show you can start anywhere. I'm gonna take you guys through a little bit of the rest of the house, because I don't know if I ever did before. This duplex is pretty small, but for 2 people, it was fine. I mean, we like to have a lot of stuff, so we grew out of it pretty fast. There was a shed there's no basement, and there's a shed in the backyard where we kept a ton of stuff. I mean, kayaks and quads and pool table and a bunch of stuff we kept in the shed. I don't really need to show you that, but the duplex is kind of small, but that doesn't mean that the place wasn't good to us at all. I mean, this place was awesome for what it was. Our landlord was awesome, and it was just a good place, a good starting stuff for Jay and I to, start our marriage and whatever and start living. It was cool. So, I mean, walk in from the garage, you got your laundry room and pantry and kitchen, dining room, and then this was our living room. And I do want to show you something that, I mean, it's kind of weird. This was our master bedroom, and there's another identical room right there. But this, guys, I'm not kidding you. I know this is going to be kind of weird to show you, but this means kind of a lot to me, because when I take showers for kind of a long time, and I like shower time is like my goal life thinking time. And that's like I'm not kidding you, in that shower, I thought first of all, for 3 years, every time I'd get in that shower, I would think to every day, because I showered every day, obviously, every single day I got in that shower, I thought about how I could, how I wanted to buy a Camaro, how to make it work to buy a Camaro, save up some more money for this and whatnot. I ended up getting one. And there's where I thought to myself how I changed my mind about keeping the truck leveled on dirt tracks, and I was going to lower it. I thought about doing the cam in there. I thought about a lot of stuff in there that I ended up doing. So I don't know, it's just, not that the shower is important, but just the thought is important. I did a lot of planning and thinking for where I was going to take the truck and the channel next, and it all happened. So, I mean, that was kind of my magic spot. So yeah, sorry to dump that weirdness on you, but it's just the truth. It really is. Also did a lot of hanging out in here with friends. and stuff just, I don't know, it's weird. I got separation problems. Jay and I were both already here, and we already kind of said bye to the place, but I figured on camera I'll lock her up and out with the old and on to bigger and better things. All right, that's it. This is weird, guys. I ain't gonna lie, but like I said, on to bigger and better things. Guys, so that's it. I have been waiting to make this video for half a year. Those first clips I took were from the end of October, or I'm sorry, the beginning of October, end of September, beginning of October. Jalen and I officially bought a house here in Saginaw, Michigan. It's got, I mean, I'm about to show you around. New shop, there's gonna be so many updates, so many things in this video, so stay tuned. It's probably gonna be a long one. I don't know the time exactly yet, but I got a million things to talk to you guys about. I'm gonna update you on every single vehicle. I'm gonna update you on the new shop. There's gonna be a new name change coming. You saw at the beginning of this video. Intro's got a new name change. Some live changing things are going on. There's just a million things I need to talk to you guys about, and we're gonna start right now with the part you guys all care about the most, or probably care about the most, is the shop. Let's go check it out. All right, so if you saw those cinematics, this is my 30 by 40. It's not massive, but it's way bigger upgrade from what I had when we were living in that duplex. We had a 1-car garage with a 1-car wide driveway in a neighborhood. With 1 car in the garage, you could squeeze 4 vehicles on the property without parking the road. You could squeeze 3 in the driveway and 1 in the garage. Obviously that was just, you know, to get us by. And it was a great place. Like I said, I talked about it in the beginning of the video. It was a great place for what it was. Our landlords were super awesome. We're actually still friends with, really good, close friends with them to this day, because they were super awesome. And the place was super nice. Nothing against it, it just was, we outgrew it. We outgrew it the moment we moved in. That's just the reality. I mean, I have 6 vehicles. They're still not even all here. Well, I have 5, my wife has 1. But we have 6 vehicles between the 2 of us, and then 2 quads, and like, it was just time to get a house and get on our own. So the first thing I'm gonna show you guys, like I said, the first thing we're gonna talk about is the shop. So yeah, like I said, this is a 30 by 40. You could fit 4 cars in here. I did all winter because It's 40 deep and 30 wide. So there's a workstation over here, and I'll show you guys this in a minute. It's 40 foot deep, 30 foot wide. So it makes it to where you can fit 2 cars like lengthwise deep. I can actually, with that car where the truck is now, if the car is about this far from the wall, I can actually pull the van in here like I did all winter. I had the van in here all winter, and it's heated in here, which I'll get to that also in a minute. And it's awesome. This is perfect. I needed this so much for just being able to have everything inside, have everything stay nice. I can wash it and not have it just be dirty the next day because let's say there was dew overnight or whatever the case was. I mean, I know a lot of you guys can relate to that. It just feels really good. With us living with that duplex and 1-car garage for 4 years, and what I did out of that garage, I mean, especially Ryan and I, we did a lot of stuff out of that garage. Like I said, we pulled motors in there. We did my whole entire 8-speed trans swap in my truck in that garage. Was it a pain in the ass? Yes. Can you always get it done? Absolutely. It just takes a little determination. It might take an extra day prolonged because of all the messing around you got to do on your back. Nonetheless, it's got, I mean, they're painted floors, but it's very like cheaply and worn out painted floors. But nonetheless, it is painted floor, so like stuff does wipe off decently, but it's peeling a lot. Kind of every time I drive on it and like turn the wheels, it'll peel the paint up. If it's wet, you drive over it and you let the car sit there and then you move, it'll peel the paint up. Nonetheless, not a big issue, something to do down the road. This is kind of the workstation. It is nowhere near set up yet. We moved in here in October, and we had the barn full of the entire house pretty much. Like all of our furniture and everything was in here because we had to redo the entire house, like on the inside. Every wall had to be painted. Every single ceiling had to be scraped with popcorn and painted, and we knocked down walls. We did a bunch of stuff in there with the help of our parents and grandparents. While we did that, we had the entire house in here. So by the time we were done, I think it was, well, it was middle of November by the time we were done, beginning to middle of November. And by that time it was like, okay, cars are, you know, being put away for the winter. Well, that and that were put away for the winter. I didn't really, I mean, it's set up in here how I want it. It's kind of organized, but it's not like my workstation is not set up yet. I've got all my like excess parts are sitting here, and the original owner left so much stuff in here. I mean, it looked like they didn't even move out. So I had to deal with organizing all that and throwing out what I didn't want. That bench was actually left here, and I'm really grateful for that because that is super nice to have. That bench was on that wall, and it made it like impossible to do 2 cars wide. So I moved that here, and it gives it a good divide for like, you know, you can work on it, but it divides the work area from the car area. But yeah, it does have an attic, and which is really nice. It's insulated really well, and like I said at the beginning of the video, it does have in-floor heat. So it's super sick. I mean, I've got it, I just turned it up. But it stays 60 degrees in here all winter. It's super nice. It doesn't heat up very fast. It's not a necessarily a heating element. It's more of like, I mean, it will over, you know, a couple hours, it'll heat up. Like in the winter, to go from 60 to 65, it took, I mean, it probably took 4 or 5 hours to jump 5 degrees. But once it gets there, it does maintain it really well unless you got the door open a lot. I got it set up so that I can have 4 cars in here. I got a nice little man cave area, which I always wanted, and that turned out super sick. I've already had hangouts here and whatnot. And then have enough room to park both my 4-wheeler and Jay's 4-wheeler in this area and kind of keep them out of the way, but still, you know, move a car and pull them out and you can use them. So yeah, overall, this place is just, it's super awesome. It was obviously, I mean, this was obviously the selling point for the house, for us getting this place. We were looking for houses for a long time. We were looking for houses downstate in the Metro Detroit area, and that's a whole nother story. But we ended up settling where we originally live in Saginaw, got ourselves this place. It's worked out so well for us already from October to, I'm recording this in the end of March. That's pretty much it about the shop. I got a little fireplace. It actually does put out heat, and it kind of heats up the hangout area all right. TV, Wi-Fi does reach out here, so that's nice. Got our little water thing out here, and it's got a sink and whatnot. I threw some banners up, threw some mirrors up. I know the question's probably, you guys are probably wondering, can you put a lift in here? With the in-floor heat, that would be an issue for like, I don't know how deep these floors are, first of all. And then if you had to pour concrete in a certain area and miss the in-floor heat, I personally really don't care that much. I truly was looking for a place more for storage that I can still work out of than I was a workshop, in the sense of like, I don't really mind working on my back. Like, does it suck? Yes, but I would much rather have tons of room than, let's say, a 2-car garage with a lift. Because I have a lot of stuff that I want to keep inside, and there's an attached garage in the house too that I will show you. But I'd much rather have a lot of storage area. This place was perfect for what I needed to do for a shop area. But speaking of the house garage, since I kind of showed you everything in here, I'll show you the house garage. The sunsets out here, I will show you guys, because I'm sure by the time I'm done, that'll be set. The sunsets and sunrises will make the day and morning of every single day that it's not cloudy. I mean, we're butt up to a, so this is the back of the shop, and we're butt up to a field. So like when we moved here, it was corn. This was full of corn, and then obviously now it's gone. But it just goes to nothing. I mean, there's obviously houses and roads behind me, but there's nothing behind you. And when the sun sets from inside the house and from, you know, out sitting out here, it is just, it's awesome. We watch like every single sunset. Got a decent, it's on an acre. The house and property's on an acre. So nothing big, but plenty enough space to, you know, have a separate driveway, and the neighbors are close, but they're not too close, and it's just awesome. I'll show you the house garage. This is the house garage. It's nothing terribly fancy, but this is where she parks. I've just got it in there for the video. This is where she parks, and then this is where I park in the summertime. This is my father-in-law's. This is not my car. I'm just storing it for him for the winter. But yeah, it's actually decent size. I don't know the dimensions of it totally, but I want to say at least that wall is brought out more than this side is. So I'd say it's probably 28 feet deep, maybe that way. Width, I don't know, maybe 24. And it does have it's got a drain in here. The barn does not, which actually does kind of suck. The barn doesn't have a drain, but this place does. So this is where I do, like, I've washed every vehicle of ours numbers of times in this garage already. And it makes it super nice. This part's not heated, but I mean, it goes into the house and it stays 50-ish in here. So it's not terrible to wash a car in here. But yeah, this is it for now. That's where I got a bunch of stuff stored in here, because this hasn't moved all winter. But yeah, this is the house garage. We got central vac, we got another sink out here. But that does actually bring me up to the next point of the video that I wanted to discuss. And that is, if you saw in the cinematics before, you know, when I was showing the house and everything, I don't know if you saw this. This is probably what you think it is. Jalen and I, in fact, are pregnant, and we're having a boy, and he is due in August. So we are super excited about that. I'm super excited to have a little helper running around and a little guy to hang out with and bring to the shop, or bring to the, you know, sit in the shop with me while I'm working, or come to the drag strip and just help bring up in that life and world if you know, if it's what he wants to do. He doesn't have to race cars, but I'm hoping, you know, kind of hoping he gets into it. Yeah, that's a major life update. So new house, new garage, new shop, bringing a new child into this world. And I guess that's kind of it. I mean, the last thing I kind of wanted to go over is all the updates on the cars. This winter, I did a ton. I didn't record anything because it was strung out over so many months, but I did a ton of maintenance on the Camaro and the truck, especially. Both of them, I mean, I got a list on my phone that I started a couple years ago that my buddy Rex kind of recommended me do, and it actually really helped. I have a list of, you know, RAM, and then I have everything I need to do to it in a somewhat order of how it needs to be done. And then I have one for the Camaro, I have one for the van, I have one for my four-wheeler. I have two other vehicles that I don't even have on there because they're both just, well, I'll talk to you about them a little bit. Nonetheless, we'll start with this. Over the winter, well, first of all, I bought these for the shop. I actually bought these because of the other vehicle I'm gonna talk about, the Ranger, that I was actually hoping to have in here a long time ago and actually sit over there, but I haven't yet, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna do that. But I bought these to put the Ranger on, and I ended up using these a lot for the winter and like right now, and they're super sick. They're Daytona car jacks or whatever. They go under the tire, and then you just hit this like a ratchet, and it just picks it right up. And then you flip it and hit it down, and it lets it down. And they're super sick for moving cars around like this. Like how I honestly, I set this all up for this video, and I just backed the car in here, and to get in that spot would have taken me way too long with how the Escalade's sitting and with that stuff to the wall. So I just stopped it here, and I put those under the wheel, and I just push over the side. And it makes it super nice for, especially in the winter time, like I didn't want to start these all the time to move them around. And I had to move the truck every now and then because the truck sat over here, and I had to move it up, forward, and back. And with the 8-speed swap, you can't put it in neutral without it running. So I would just put those under the rear wheels and slide it forward and drop it. And those things are super sick. They're super nice investment if you guys have a shop that you're moving vehicles around that you don't want to start up all the time, or like you just got to move like side to side or whatever the case is. Those are definitely worth it. Nonetheless, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. The Camaro, mechanical wise, it needed an alternator. I'll actually pop the hood while I'm talking about this. It needed an alternator, and it wouldn't hold AC at all. And when I kind of checked out the compressor, and it looked like it had some, goodness, it looked like it had some dye on the compressor. So I went and bought a compressor, but the compressor came with a new compressor, new receiver dryer, and a new condenser. So I said, screw it. I did all that and eliminated that. I took the EGR off. I took the AIR pump off. Don't mind that piece. I ordered the wrong piece twice, and I was trying to start the car that night, and I was fed up with it, and I had some aluminum sitting around, so I cut a piece and put a gasket in, and it actually holds just fine. So until I got headers, it's probably just gonna sit like that. Otherwise, there's actual black off plates in the intake and the exhaust manifolds, just to get me by until I put headers on this car. I put a new alternator on it, so it's got a Mechman alternator on it. Can't really see it, it sits down way down there. These cars from factory come with the power steering cooler integrated inside the upper radiator hose, so I deleted that to prevent them breaking down and going into each other. And it actually was too late when I pulled this off. I was worried about power steering fluid mixing with my coolant, and I actually, when I tore this apart, there was actually coolant inside the power steering. So I mean, that's a better alternative, but I was trying to prevent that in the first place. Nonetheless, I put a complete upper rear radiator hose on it, and then mounted an old trans cooler. You can't really see it, but I put a old trans cooler down like there where the AIR pump was, and ran lines to the power steering pump and use that as a power steering cooler. I raised the rear end a little bit because it was a little too low, and actually on this side you could see more. This side, because the rear end shifted this way a little bit, I mean the tires rubbed real bad over bumps on the fender here. So this is how it sits now. I like it this way better anyways, because once I saw this about the car, I could never unsee it. A lot of cars in the old GM days are like this. If you look at this body line that goes straight down, this wheel well actually sits lower than this wheel well does. And so with the car lowered a good amount and level, to me, it looked like it was like sagging in the rear and like squatting, and it drove me nuts. One, two, if you put like two people in this car and anything in the back seat for luggage, it would lower it so much it would almost be touching, and then every single bump you go over it would rub, and it drove me nuts. So I'd rather have a rake to the car, in my opinion, than a squat. So I raised the rear end. I put new springs in it, and then I put spring spacers in it because the new springs didn't get as much as I wanted. I may end up pulling one spring spacer out because it's a tad high. The front I didn't touch, but I did that. And then the other thing was the bumper. So this is the original OEM bumper. I got it, all the body work done to it. It's repainted. It was blocked off, repainted, and I got the grill. I don't have a grill anymore, so it had this crappy like V6 looking crappy plastic black grill in it. Pulled that out, and you can run these cars with no grills. I mean, this is just pulling the grill out, and it still says Camaro on it. The only problem is the bumper has holes all over the place for the grill to sit. So I had a guy, he filled in all the holes, and he painted it, and it turned out really sick. And then I had my buddy Brandon Car Clinic ceramic coat it, paint correct ceramic coat it. So it turned out really well. And while I was at it, behind the bumper, there's the bumper support. I put a Midwest chassis lightweight bumper support on it. Saved some weight there. So I probably, with doing all this stuff, I mean, the car was 3,810 pounds with me in it and a half tank of gas. I probably saved, with the lightweight bumper support, pulling the AAR pump, pulling the EGR, all that kind of stuff, I probably saved, I don't know, 20 pounds maybe, which I mean is cool. And I got way more flow through here. I mean, this had not only the grill in it, but then it had like a foam, hard foam piece that went from here all the way across. So there was just like hardly any airflow through there. So, and I think for this car, that's it. On to this truck. Same exact thing. I had a ton of maintenance to do to this truck. One thing was I had a hole in the front bumper from hitting a trailer hitch 4 or 5 years ago. And not only did I have a hole right there, the whole bumper had stone chips on it and there was paint missing everywhere. So did the grill. So I got a new bumper, new Mopar bumper. I got the grill repainted. And then I had to put the fog light support, I had to put a new one of those on because the trailer hitch went through the bumper, through the fog light support, and then it went actually through the actual absorber, and it went into the frame plate and bent the frame plate. So I had to bend the frame plate back, then put a new absorber on it, new fog light support on it, new front bumper, get the grill painted. I had to get a new fog light, and then I got everything was painted, ceramic coated. So the front end on this and this are brand new. Put new fender liners in it. I did rear brakes. I did a new belt, just random little stuff. I'm still not like done with maintenance, but for the most part, I got probably 85, 90% of it done. Truck still needs a rack and pinion. And then there's things that are like next on the list that like, okay, the truck needs a rear bumper. I still gotta like finish up my center console in the truck, getting that buttoned up. Rack and pinion, the front struts are getting bad. I wanna redo the fuel system. So like there's things that are like still on the list for like maintenance, but it's getting into bigger stuff. There was just a lot of little stuff. Like my buddy helped me fine tune this 8-speed. So the 8-speed's tuned and drivable a lot better now. I put new tires on it. I had some 290. I'm a little iffy on them because they're taller. I had 30s on there and now they're 32s again, but they're Toyo Proxies or whatever. And they're a decent tire. They're just 275s instead of the 295s I had on there because the tire that I used to run, the 295 45 20, they were general grabbers. They were an ultra high performance general grabber. They're actually a fantastic tire and they don't make them anymore, so they're impossible to find. And I was a little bummed about that, but these Toyo Proxies are decent and will get me by. And I can always change sizes if I want. That's about it. There's just a couple things, like I said, that I still want to do to it. As far as the Escalade, this is my wife's. Nothing happened to her over the winter besides we got it tinted. And now that I have more vehicles for her to drive to work and I can have this sit for a day or two in case something happens, I have a rear lowering kit for this. I bought it for her for Christmas. So it's gonna drop the rear 2 inches and it's actually gonna lower level the truck. Have it sit a little lower, not rake so bad. And then there's other things to do to this, like throw some ball joints in it. I'm gonna see what it looks like. She wants to see what it looks like with those running boards off. And then next for this is an exhaust. But this is pretty much just her daily driver. And throughout the years, it'll hopefully get pretty sick. Like we want to do a full exhaust cam, like a mild cam, one that you don't need a converter for or nothing. And then one day, whenever the random $8,000 comes that she wants to drop on this, throw a Whipple on it and daily it. It's going to be the ultimate, like, sick mom mobile that runs like low 12s, high 11s or something. I don't know, whatever. It'd be pretty sick. 6.2 10-speed truck, so we'll see. But Otherwise, that's it for these vehicles. For those that care, this will be real quick. This is my daily driver in the winter, and it's my do-all vehicle for the summer, my extra vehicle for the summer as well. It's a 6-liter, and it's got 355,000 miles on it, and it runs fantastically. The front bumper on this was super rusted out, so I did put a new front bumper on this. So all of my daily driving vehicles got new bumpers this year, which is pretty sick. This, I'm not touching it until next winter when I bring it back out again. And I drive it every single day, but this needs brakes really bad. It needs 3 tires, stuff like that. But this thing's otherwise has been good. Ever since I put a new oil pump in it and found my oil cavitation issue, it's got 70, 80 PSI of oil, and it runs like a top. It's got headers and no cats and a muffler, and it sounds great, and I daily drive it, and it is what it is. It's my dual vehicle. I throw both quads back there, and I do a lot of stuff with tires. So I throw tires back there and parts back there, and if my friends or somebody needs a loaner, they take this. If I gotta tow something, I take this, whatever the case is. Here it is, guys. I'm telling you, it's getting there. When that sun drops behind those trees, you just wait. Picture perfect. The 2 other vehicles I want to talk to you really quickly about. The first one is my Taurus Show. I did make a video on this a long time ago. I'm just gonna reiterate it. I have a 1997 Taurus SHO with a V8 in it it was my first car. I had plans of restoring it and making it a nice driver, just a nice daily slow Taurus, because it was my first one. And I mean, the car's in absolutely no driving condition. It's blown brake lines and the floor's half rotted out of it. I mean, I can put my foot through the floor in a couple spots, and it is a pile of junk. It still runs and still drives. It technically doesn't stop, but it does run and drive. I start it once every 6 months. I'm not going to do anything with that car specifically. I am keeping it until I find another one. And then when I get another one, I'm gonna take, what I want off of that one and put it in the new, and I say new one, I just mean another 96 to 99, a Gen 3, and put it in that, and just buy that car to basically do an exhaust on it, lower it, wheels, tint it, sound system, and it just be a nostalgia car for me, a car that I can talk about and remember having in high school, and be my first car. Not actually be my first car, but it also not be completely rotted. I mean, the rockers are falling off, the plastic rockers are falling off because it has nothing to mount into. You can hardly lift the car anymore because all the lift points are just rotted. I mean, the car is gone, and I'm not spending the well into the 5 figures to just get the car safe and new floorboards and all this kind of stuff. It's not worth it just to have 200 horsepower to drive around. I mean, it's all it is going to serve as my first vehicle talk about car, and it ain't worth it. On the other side, buying another one is hard. There's not a lot of Gen 3 Taurus V8 shows out there to begin with. And then finding a clean one without any rust, you're gonna lower your chances a lot more. I mean, if you look them up, if you go on Auto Tempest right now and you look up 1996, 1999 Taurus SHO, none will pop up anywhere on cars.com, on Auto Trader, on anything. There's none anywhere. You got to search them on Marketplace, on Craigslist. That's where you start finding them. You're gonna find maybe 30 across the country that are for sale. I'd say 17 of them are gonna be pretty rusty, pretty crappy, and finding a white one, that's like a unicorn. So I'm gonna keep my eye out. I'm not in the market for one right now, because I got other things to spend my money on, but that's what I'm gonna do for that car. And then the other vehicle is my grandpa's 01 Ranger he gave me. That is also in pretty rough shape, but it looks to be savable. My idea with that truck is to do a no prep grudge style truck. Actually, I want to put a 6.4 in this truck. My thought was pull the 5.7 out of this and drop it in my Ranger, because I haven't seen anybody do that yet. Hemi Ranger 400 9-inch. Get that truck running like 650s or high 6s, and really learn the truck, and then build it from there. Boost it after that, whatever the fact. But get that truck going as like a no prep style truck. But it's gonna take a lot for that to happen, because it's very rusty. I mean, the box is shot, the fenders are shot, the cab is savable, and the frame is very surface rusted but seems solid. So that's gonna be kind of the telltale right there. If I strip that truck down and then sandblast the frame or something, I see a bunch of holes, or like it's super weak or soft, then it's getting scrapped. I've really been thinking on what to do with that truck because it was my grandpa's, and it was actually the first vehicle I ever drove, and he let me drive that one day when I was like probably 13 or something like that. 13, 12, whatever the case was. That truck does mean a lot to me, and he gave it to me for free, so I wanna do something with it. But I mean, building a truck like that, how I wanna do it is gonna take some time. I mean, you gotta strip the whole truck down to basically frame and cab, and then fuel system, and all new fuel system, all new suspension, brake system, and then trying to get a Hemi in it, and then a 400, and then put a 9-inch in it, and then running off a Holly. I mean, that's gonna take a lot of time and a lot of money, and I'm still putting money into this truck. I'm still putting money into my Camaro and time and stuff like that, and these are already running. It's hard to figure that out, but that's the idea with that truck. It's just, when's it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? That's what those car dollies were for. Was I was gonna have it in the corner over there and just sit there, and when I was bored, come out here and tinker with it. Take the box off, take the motor out, take the trans out, take the drive shaft and all the suspension off, and whatever the case was. That's what I was gonna do. That brings me to my last segment to talk to you guys about, and that is the name change. I've been wanting to change this channel for a long time. I've wanted to change the name actually for this channel for a long time. I couldn't settle on what I wanted. I couldn't bring myself to do it because I was always too nervous, like that it was gonna be cringy, or that it was gonna be, I was just too nervous to do it. I was nervous that I was gonna name the channel something and then realize, oh, I should have done this. But I sat on those nerves for like 2 or 3 years, and I know it just has to happen, it has to be done. So I am in fact changing the name to Street Inductions. The reason I came up with that name was, first of all, I hate my name on YouTube now. It's just a stupid, weird collaboration I made. I based it off of my show, if you couldn't tell, Show Off 3.4. 3.4 is the motor size, and I just thought Show Off was just funny. So I named it from the car, and I just learned to hate it. And I learned that it's impossible to like tell people about it. Like, oh, it's your YouTube name, and you gotta say it, and like, oh, it's Show Off 3.4, but you gotta spell it like this, and then it's actually SHOOFF, no spaces, there's no W, like it's just impossible for people to find. And then when I would watch people type it in on YouTube, it would automatically put a space in it, and then you'd have to find me, and it just sucked from a marketing standpoint, and it just sucked as a name. It was just a cringy, I don't know, I just don't like it. So the reason I came up with Street Inductions was, I did struggle a lot to figure out what to name myself, because I didn't want it to be something, I don't want to like categorize myself on something like, some people, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but some people put like, Mopar this, and it's like, okay, now you're stuck. Like people look at your name and think you're doing Mopar stuff. I don't stick with one brand. I don't stick with one like kind of engine or style of something. But the one thing that I do always stick with and love the most and have a passion for is like street style stuff, street cars. I want to start getting into taking that truck to like back half stuff where it's no prep, and start garage racing some track hawks or whatever the case is. Start doing stuff like that. Start back halfing this, like doing back half stuff with this, and getting her to stick on any kind of surface. Like that's the kind of stuff I like to do, like to watch, I'm interested in. That's going to be the category that I always look to find myself and do look to go toward. And learning. And I know I have a ton to learn, but I want to start getting into that world a lot more. So that's why I named the channel Street Inductions, because everything I do to my vehicles on this channel will be street car related. That's just how it is. My camera battery is dying. I'm done anyway, and I know I've rambled for a long time, and I don't like making these long videos of just me sitting here talking to you guys, but I had to show you guys, the new house, the new shop, give you an update with that, and I figured it was the best time. The new shop, to me, brought out the good time to change the name and just be a whole new channel. The way I record, the way I start uploading, the name of the channel, the shop, and how stuff is gonna be done. I just figured this is the perfect time to restart, to bring it all, lay it all on the table and say, this is the new name, and it's gonna be a new channel. I mean, it's gonna be the same channel, same people. I'm still gonna do the same kind of stuff. It's in my head, in my eyes, it's a new channel because all the stuff that I'm gonna internally change about it and come at it differently and do things differently. So that being said, I guess I should probably think of a new outro. because hope you guys enjoyed. If you did hit that likes button, hit the subscribe button. It's kind of old, so I'm gonna have to think of a new outro. Nonetheless, thanks for watching. I hope you guys stayed to the end. Comment something down below if you did make it to the end. Let me know what you think of the new name. Let me know what you think of the new shop. Let me know what you think of me being a dad to a boy. So let me know what you think of, you know, the Camaro and the truck and whatever the case is. Comment down below. I want to start getting engaged with my viewers a lot more, and I want to start posting on Instagram more. And this is what I mean by it's going to be a new channel. Hopefully, it's going to be a new. I need to get myself out there more. I need to do better. Slacking on videos. Nonetheless, this is why I was slacking on videos, because we were doing so much with the house and there was so much stuff going on, and like she's pregnant. She's having a rough kind of pregnancy. So like there's a lot of reasons why I haven't posted in a while, but I do have a video already that's gonna come out after this, and then I'm gonna lower that and record lowering that, and then I'm gonna start recording just doing stuff in general. Like me and my buddies hanging out and doing car stuff. Hitting the local car meets this year, and maybe going to Mexico after the car meet, you know, whatever the case is. I'm gonna start recording that kind of stuff and giving you some more, like being more, involving you guys a lot more and stuff, and then hopefully it's gonna make my audience bigger, and hope people like that kind of stuff, that kind of raw stuff. We're gonna try it out. So anyways, again, I know I rambled. When the sunset comes, I will show you guys the sunset. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Comment down below what you think, and everyone else have a good rest of your day. Oh, I also want to say, I said I'm changing my name, and I am. I'm not going to change it until the next video comes out. I don't want to change it before this video comes out, and I don't want to change it right away after, because I want to give people the chance to see this and know like who the heck is Street Inductions, or where to show off your before go, or whatever the case is. So I'm putting this video out there. I'm hoping a lot of people see it and get notified about it. And then when the next video comes out, that's when I'll change the name. So just wanted to put that out there. All right. See, today's a good one. Oh yeah. She's a beaut, Clark. Oh goodness. Oh, you guys want to know a fun fact too? I had a fire the other day, and I brought my van back here. I brought it back here dry, so I was good. Well, I let it sit overnight. It rained overnight, and I tried moving it, and this is a really good low spot. And I tried moving it, and well, I'm sure you can see what I'm trying to tell you. She was buried to the hubcap, especially up there, or the center cap. I had to have my cousin Josh come pull me out. But yeah, this is the sunset out here every single day that it's not cloudy, and it's just so awesome. I love it.
Everything I do is got the bins jumping out the bed. Another milestone, look at that. Paper boy on my paper route till I'm 6 down on my back. I'm an old soul like my dad. My old girl still a fan. And yo girl at the live show, so don't act like I ain't the man. I'm kicking my feet up your